Hello guys, what is up? How's it going? This is going to be my 2013 Stanley Cup playoff predictions. So I'm going to start with the Eastern Conference and move on over to the West eventually. So let's get started here. I'm going to go 1 to 8, 2 to 7, 3 to 6, so on and so forth. So let's start with the Pittsburgh Penguins versus Team Tavares. No, I'm just kidding. Well, pretty much Team Tavares. He has held this team on his back. He's a hell of a player, and he should be named the captain for next year. But in this shortened 48-game season, Pittsburgh had the season series 4-1. So, I mean, there just says it right there. Pittsburgh's a much better team. Obviously, with the additions of Morrow, Murray, and obviously Jerome McGinley are going to help tremendously once Crosby comes back. Hopefully, that spark with McGinley and Crosby is there like they had in the Olympics. But that's going to help out tremendously. But you can't forget, most of these guys have a cup ring. So Crosby, Gino Malkin, Chris Kunitz, Tyler Kennedy, Dupuis, Cook, Letang, Fleury, like they all have cup rings. So they know what it takes to get to the final, and they know how to do it. They've been there twice since the Crosby era. So and obviously winning once against Detroit and losing once against Detroit. But so they have what it can take. So let's move on over to the New York Islanders now. And I mean for the Islanders, it's just a success for them to even make the playoffs, considering where they have been for the past 5 years plus. In the basement, they've drafted well, obviously, with Tavares. Totally turned this team 360 degrees. Completely turn around from this team. In this year, he had almost a point a game. He would have added one more point. He would have been a point-a-game player. And if you're a point-a-game player, you're a hell of a hockey player. So Tavares is very skilled. Obviously, he makes players like Molson, Grabner, Boyes, Okposo, Bailey. They're all way better now that they play with Tavares, who's got a couple years of NHL experience under his belt. I mean, he's only 21, guys. He is so young. And to have almost 300 games of NHL experience already, that's crazy. But I mean, a couple more years for the Islanders. Once prospects like Niederreiter, Ryan Strome, obviously Griffin Reinhart, they took third overall last year. I mean, look at that. They finished third last in the league last year, and now they're making the playoffs. I mean, it's the 8th spot, but there's also 8 teams that didn't make it. So, I mean, it's a success of a year, no matter how this series turns out. So I think that it's going to be 4-1 for Pittsburgh. I mean, they're going to be lucky to even win one game. Pittsburgh's too strong, too skilled. 4-1 for Pittsburgh in the first round. All right, sticking with the Eastern Conference now, we have the number 2 seeded Montreal Canadiens versus the 7th place Ottawa Senators. So let's start with the season matchup now. The Canadiens and Sens split 4 games this year, both teams winning 1 game in regulation and 1 game in a shootout, so 2 wins each. But throw the regular season out the window, burn it and bury it. It is time for the playoffs. Regular season stats do not matter. A surprise for me and obviously everyone else was how high Montreal finished in the standings. Obviously, they drafted Alex Galchenyuk, 3rd overall last year. So from being in almost last place to being almost in first place is a huge turnaround. Obviously, got to credit Michel Therrien and Marc Bergevin for that. They've done an awesome job. But some concerns for Montreal I have are their inexperience with arguably their most important players this year anyways. Alex Galchenyuk, I mean, he's only 18, guys. 0 playoff experience. Look at that baby face. Like, he's so young. And you also have Brandon Gallagher, who had a great year alongside Galchenyuk. But if they can't produce in the playoffs, I think they're going to be screwed, because Galchenyuk and Gallagher were huge parts of Montreal this year, and I don't think Pacioretty, Plekanec, and Giunta can pick up the scoring if Galchenyuk and Gallagher don't produce. I could be wrong, though. They could have stellar playoff years or playoff runs, but I don't know that. So another concern I do have is Carey Price, guys. Usually this guy is top 5 every single year. He is a stud, but he had a very good year, don't get me wrong, but the past month really concerns me. He's just been flat out brutal the past month. I don't know why. I don't know what is up with him. If he doesn't turn it around, Montreal is screwed in the playoffs. Hopefully, Carey Price can turn it around and give Montreal a decent playoff run. All right, Ottawa now. These guys have just had a whirlwind of a regular season. Obviously, they lost Mahalik. They haven't had Spezza the whole year, and they also lost their starting goalie, Craig Anderson, and obviously they lost Erik Karlsson, being the best defenseman in the whole game. They lost him for almost a whole year. So, big props to Ottawa for staying in it. Once all their injuries happened, once Anderson was out, and once Karlsson got hurt, even I wrote them off. I was like, all right, Ottawa, just tank this year, maybe get a good pick, and then get them next year. But no, they want to win this cup with Alfie, and I totally have 100%. My faith is with Ottawa right now. They just fight and fight and fight, and they seem to get wins. So even when they didn't have Anderson and Karlsson and Mahalik, Spezza, all these guys stepped up. You see guys like Condra, Greening, Zach Smith, Silverberg had a wonderful year. He had a great year. The depth players really stepping up for them, and in the absence of Karlsson, it was all Sergei Gonchar and Mark Mithot. They played amazing. This prediction's kind of going to be a crazy one, guys, but I think it's going to be Ottawa in 7 games. They have found a way to win all year. I think that's going to carry over to the playoffs. These guys have too much character and too much pride to go out in the first round. Ottawa in 7 games, 4-3. All right, now we got the number 3 seeded Washington Capitals versus the number 6 seed New York Rangers. The season series went 2-1 for the Rangers. Again, throw that out the window. Ovechkin scored an NHL record 14 goals in April, becoming the first 3-time Rocket Richard winner in 13 years. No player has done that in 13 years. That's crazy. And his crazy offensive play helped Washington go 17-4-2 in its final 23 games, including an 11-1-1 record in April to move from 14th in the East, so almost at the very bottom of the Eastern Conference down there with Florida, all the way up to number 3. So, I mean, that's just crazy to see how much Ovechkin can turn a team around. People saying that Ovechkin might be, he's going to probably pan out to be another 30-goal guy for the rest of his life. He proved everybody wrong. In a shortened year, he had 32 goals in 48 games. That is insane. Next year, I think he's going to be back to his 55, 60-goal pace if he has this it's kind of new confidence. It's a new swagger that Ovechkin has, but no doubt he is one of the most prolific goal scorers in the game. The Rangers really got to watch out for Ovechkin. If he heats up, the series is going to be over quick. I think the addition of Marty Erat's really good, really going to help them out. And Braden Holtby has to play like he did in last year's playoffs. He was phenomenal in the last year's playoffs, but hopefully he can be just as good as he was last year. But as for the New York Rangers, their opponent, going into this year, they were my pick to win the Stanley Cup. I thought they were just too skilled, too good. Best goalie on the planet, Henrik Lundqvist. I thought nothing could go wrong, but I was definitely wrong. The first half of the regular season, they didn't play up to standards at all. They were just, I don't know. They had to work their chemistry in and everything. But the last couple months here, they really have stepped it up. They have went 10-3-1 in April, securing their playoff spot. I think that it's Ovechkin and the Capitals just going to be too much. So I have the Capitals in 5 games. This is going to be too much for the Rangers. I don't know. I can't see the Rangers getting past Ovechkin. I mean, it's crazy to say one player, but he's that good, guys. He can turn a team right around, and he's definitely done that with Washington. So I got the Capitals in 5 games over the New York Rangers. Okay, Leafs fans, it is your time now. There's playoff hockey in Leafland. I thought I'd never see the day. But we have the number 4 seeded big bad Boston Bruins against the number 5 Toronto Maple Leafs. So Boston took the season series 3-1. Boston has played amazing this year. Obviously, with the addition of Yager, really helped out. It gives them more tough, If his team can get any more tough, Yager is the player to do it. Lucic and Horton are just absolute tanks, and if I had to model a team around any team, it would be the Boston Bruins. They have the perfect mix of skill, toughness, finesse, goaltending, big defensemen. They have it all, guys. They are my pick right behind Pittsburgh to win it all. I really think that they have another legitimate chance this year. Obviously, they won the Cup a couple years ago against Vancouver, which broke my heart. But I think that they're just the perfect team on paper. Seguin is stupidly skilled, and the one concern that I have, and this is very, very minimal, Tuukka Rask is a hell of a goalie, guys. He was originally drafted by the Leafs, if you didn't know that. They traded him for Andrew Raycroft. Oh, Leafs, what are you doing? Anyways, so Tuukka Rask is an unbelievable goalie, but his playoff experience does concern me. Only 13 playoff games. The playoff games were all Tim Thomas before he decided to take a year off, so if Tuukka Rask plays like he has all year, the Bruins will win this series, no question. All right, Leafs fans, let's dissect your team here. You guys been the Cinderella story that every hockey player likes, like coming up from the very bottom, and now you finally made the playoffs after 9 years. I'm so happy for you guys. I, a Canucks fan, bought a Phil Kessel shirt. Mind you, my girlfriend made me, but she's a Leafs fan, so she'll be rooting for the Leafs. Even I'll be rooting for the Leafs as a Canucks fan. I really hope that they do well, and that they I want to say that they have a chance, but it is so slim, guys. I have the Boston Bruins, the big bad Bruins, taking down the Toronto Maple Leafs in 6 games. I'm sorry to crush your dreams, Leafs fans. You would have had a much better chance if you would have played Montreal, but that didn't pan out. Big bad Bruins in 6 games, guys. That's just it for me. I don't think they're going to do it this year. Next year, come back, maybe we'll talk. But the Bruins in 6 games over the Leafs. All right, guys, that is my playoff predictions for the Eastern Conference for the 2013 playoffs. All over again, I have Pittsburgh in 5 games over the New York Islanders, Ottawa in 7 games over the Habs, Capitals in 5 over the Rangers, and then the Bruins over the Leafs in 6 games. So, tell me what you guys think. Let me know all of your predictions in the comments below. I will do another one for the Western Conference and do another one for the second round, third round, and the Cup Finals. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know your predictions. Have a good one, and who is ready for playoff hockey? I can't even wait.